are from the Netherlands.
I'm from Austria.
We are from Germany.
We are from Belgium.
I'm from Romania.
We are from Czech Republic.
I am from Poland. We are from Switzerland.
We are from Hungary.
With the Northern Talent Cup, what we wanted to create is in very favorable conditions for the riders of Northern Europe, Northern and Central Europe, to be able to race in the same conditions that Spanish riders ride in the European Talent Cup. That would then go into other categories such as the European Talent Cup or the Rebel Rookies Cup. We have 3 riders from the Northern Talent Cup which are actually in the 2021 Rebel Rookies Cup.
This is a huge opportunity for you guys, and if you don't take advantage of it, we are all here doing nothing.
The Northern Talent Cup is kind of a mix between what we are accustomed to having in the Talent Cups, but there are teams which are owners of the bikes. This gives them the possibility to have more and more track time throughout the year, because we think that what they are missing is
Please be seated. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to round 10 of the MotoGP World Championship here for the Michelin Grand Prix of Styria. It's time for our 2021 annual Tech Talk, our technical managers press conference. In line with recent years, this will be divided into 2 instalments with 3 technical representatives here featuring today, and then 3 again next week here in Austria. To start with our first chat today, delighted that we can be joined by Takahiro Sumi, Yamaha YXR M1 project leader, Ken Kawauchi, Team Suzuki X-Star technical manager, and Romano Albasiano, Aprilia Racing technical director. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us here today. Takahiro Sumi, if we could start with you, please. 9 races into 2021 and 5 victories for Yamaha so far. Fabio Quartararo has a 34-point lead heading into round 10. Considering engines were frozen heading into this season, Yamaha have wheeled out a much improved Yamaha M1. How happy are you with this leap forward?
We are happy, of course. We finished half of the season on the top position, but more than that, it's just a passing point for us. More than that, we are happy about, we confirm the direction and action what we did from last year to this season is correct. So we just concentrate our development as we planned without any confusion. This is a biggest good things.
In terms of what's happened so far in 2021, what specific area are you most pleased with in terms of development? Perhaps from a technical point of view, was there something that you needed to fix that has been fixed?
Of course, we did all aspects from last year's season about engine, chassis, and aerodynamics. But the main point we improved from last year is chassis. So especially for the Fabio, he is feel more feeling on the bike. So now he can push his limit more. So this can be one of the cause of his good performance.
Thank you very much indeed. Now going to move over to Suzuki and speak to Ken Kawauchi. Ken, thank you for joining us. 2020, of course, was a sensational year for Suzuki, but your competition have all made steps forward. How would you analyse Suzuki's performances so far in 2021 from a technical perspective?
Okay. Of course, 2020 is a very good year, and our bike from 2020 and 21 we improve, sure, but our way of developing is always not big step, but surely step we improve. So from 2020-21, our bike improved, but it seems as a manufacturer could do some big step. So honestly, a little bit struggling first half of the season, but I don't think our result so far not reflect our performance. So I'm looking forward to fighting second half of the season.
We know that Suzuki have been working very hard on bringing the squatting device into MotoGP. It looks like that may now be available. Are there any other areas that Suzuki are focusing their attention on from a technical perspective?
Yeah, about lowering device. We already finished the testing in Japan, then we shipped to here. So if we have opportunity, we'll try, but during the race weekend, very difficult to try, but anyway, we are ready to do. And as a part of developing second half of the season, we are preparing some aerodynamics on every part, not big step, but we'll prepare some surely step improvement.
Thank you very much indeed. Last but certainly not least, we move over to Aprilia and Romano Albastiano. Romano, there is little doubt that the biggest step forward in terms of machinery in 2021 has been made by Aprilia. How proud are you of the leap forward that Aprilia has made coming into this season?
Quite much proud. We have finally reached a good level of performance in almost all circuits. We have focused some weak points we had in the past, and we fixed, I can say we 90% fixed all these points. And now we have a good base for a stable development for the future.
It looks as though the Aprilia RSGP has a base setting, as you just mentioned, that works at almost every single circuit. How difficult was this to achieve, and how crucial was it to make that step to enable you to then improve the bike further?
Well, I believe it's fundamental for the future. This is clear. In the last 2 seasons, we made major changes to the engine, for example, and for layout reason, for not directly related to performance, to power output, but we had to do it. So every time you make a big change, you do a step forward, but sometimes you do 2 steps backward. And at the end, we managed to keep more or less the same level in terms of engine performance. Maybe we lost something, but what we lost made the rider action even easier. So this is maybe one reason of our improvement. And yes, finally, we have in front of us 2-3 seasons without major changes on the bike. And we know that the performance of a racing bike comes from the refinement, generally not from revolution. So I'm quite optimistic for the future.
Romano, thank you very much. Gentlemen, that's all from me. It's now time to pass over to questions from members of the media.
Hi guys, Lewis Duncan from Autosport. I have a question for Ken Kawauchi. Suzuki is the last manufacturer to bring the squatting device. Do you think Suzuki has maybe underestimated the potential of this device over the past year because all the other manufacturers have it and have gained an advantage from it? Thank you.
Yes, maybe our decision to have a lowering device is a little bit late, but we are already have it. So now catch up as a manufacturer. Thank you very much.
Yes, sorry. Sumi-san, I have some questions for you. The first one is, I would like to know if you can explain me what happened with Maverick Viñales within the 7 days between Germany and Assen, right? In one race, as we know, he finished last. 7 days later, probably with the same bike, he finished second. So from my point of view, there can be always only 3 points to explain this, okay? Was it a setup problem? Was it a tire problem? Or was it a rider performance? Can you explain it to me? I imagine you have investigated this.
It's not so easy to separate things. But yeah, now Maverick is from past. We struggle about the performance change due to the condition. So we always try to find the best setting for each condition. So sometimes it is out of his point. He loses a lot than the others. So in that means the setting and the combination with rider's characteristic is the main point, I think.
Yes, another question is, the other ones are very short. Do you expect Ramon Forcada to be back in the Yamaha garage next season?
I'm not sure about next year's lineup of the staff, so we cannot say. But his experience is always helping, even he's in the satellite team. So we are happy to work with him.
And my last one, thank you, is do you consider Yamaha can reconduct the situation with Maverick?
Sorry, I don't understand well, sorry.
If Yamaha can fix the situation with Maverick. We heard him yesterday apologizing about how he has managed the situation. Is there any chance to go back?
About Maverick's future?
Yes.
So far, everyone's mind is fixed, so we just concentrate to finish this season with our best support and try to make him fast and enjoy to ride our M1 until the end of the season. This is our only target.
Thank you very much.
Yes, hello, it's Akira Nishimura, Mr. Bike in Japan. I have a few questions for Ken-san. Ken-san, I have a question about your rear squatting device. Do you install it this weekend or next weekend? And with that device, how much do you estimate to improve your lap time? And finally, does the device make some change in your session or racing strategy? Thank you very much.
Honestly, always some new item, some positive point and negative point. So we have to investigate very carefully. If positive point is bigger, we will use for race. But during race weekend, as I say, a very, very short time to set up and, of course, prepare for the race is very important. So may be difficult, but anyway, if we have a chance, we will try.
This weekend or next weekend?
Difficult question, but depend on the weather, on for example, some result of qualify, up to the situation, we'll decide.
How much do you estimate to improve your lap time?
Not sure, but I hope some good improvement.
And will it change your session or racing strategy?
What mean?
That squatting device change your session or racing strategy?
Yeah, maybe, but we don't have so much experience about this device, so I cannot say so much.
Thank you very much.
Hello, David Emmett from MotorMasters.com. I'm going to ask a question about the far future. Obviously, the next 5 years, the technical rules are fixed because we go into a new contract period. So now is perhaps the time to start thinking about what happens after that. How do you see, is there anything you would like MotoGP to be doing from, was it 2027 forward? How do you see the future of the sport, the kind of rules that we might have? What would you want? A question for all three, please.
What's the question for?
For all three.
Okay. So yeah, as a Yamaha, it should be good to just the performance of the bike with a stable regulation. But now that the global situation is now drastically changed to the more carbon neutral or something. So now we have to, I'm not sure, but as an industry, we have to think about the future with the balance of the performance, entertainment, and environment. So now the motorcycle is not so much about these things, but now it's time to think about it.
Yeah. It's about the competition point of view. Now current regulation is more or less well balanced. But as Yamaha Sumi-san say, we have to consider more about carbon neutral to survive such a good racing activity.
Well, I hope that now we have reached a good level of performance, as I said before. So I hope there will be no revolution in order to not to start again from zero. But anyway. Okay, it's clear we are in the middle of a revolution, this carbon neutral revolution, and it's going to affect the industry and the motorsport. I hope that in the near future, this will affect the motorsport in a clever way through the use of, for example, eco-fuel, so carbon neutral fuel in the internal combustion engines without starting using some strange electric or a hybrid device which would increase the cost in a crazy way and make everything much more difficult for everybody.
Hi, good day. Tammy from Sports 5 Israel. Question for all three. It's been a year and a half since the COVID pandemic started, and I wanted to know how you still feel the effects on the development and how you see the future effects of it. And do you think there should be still a pause in development for the coming season because it's still going on as we can see it? Thank you very much.
Yeah, as Yamaha, not only Yamaha, but still the COVID situation is still difficult for us. But we learned a bit more than last year. As you know, we it's a big regret, but we cannot take advantage of the opportunity to test in Europe with a whole HoloLens last year. But now we try to be more better way to test outside Japan with Calculaccio. We did a few times already, and we now have a plan with plan more in Europe this year. For the main target is to develop our next year's bike in GP circuit. So still difficult, but now we have more knowledge to manage the situation, and so we improved than last year.
Yeah, sure. Still many difficulty. For example, our test rider Silvan Gintori. If we wanna asking him to come to Japan to test, but this is not possible with the current situation. And for example, our testing team in Japan goes to Europe, many restrictions. So very difficult, but we have to find out some solution. Then we have to continue to develop.
Yeah, we are still hit by this situation. Sometimes we have people that have to stay home in quarantine, and Sometimes we have to almost shut some departments. It's still a problem. I hope that with the mass vaccination, which is quickly increasing in Europe, all around the world, this thing will be fixed in, hope, nobody knows, 1 year. Hope so.
I'm sorry, can you clarify, please, Sumi-san and Koichi-san, if you want to keep a hold on the development of the engines for next season as well, or is it good to carry on as it used to be?
For next year, because the engine frozen regulation is lifted, so now it's open again. So of course we have to, now we are still challenger to the title, so we cannot choose the point. We have to do our best in all aspect.
Yeah, yes, this is a good chance to one step forward to our bike developing. So we already starting to prepare some new spec for next year, so we continue to develop it.
Yes, I have two questions for Romano. Romano, the first one is, in a recent interview with Massimo, he explained me that a number of engineers have joined Aprilia, okay? And it surprised me that because they came from very different areas or companies. He explained me that there were ex-Suzuki, ex-Ducati, McLaren, Lamborghini, Ferrari, Mercedes. How difficult was make this mix work together? I mean, join and work in the same pace that you normally work.
Well, part of these people came back to Aprilia after leaving the company years ago, moving to other companies and then coming back. So we are talking partly of people that have grown up in Aprilia and then now that they have come back. Well, it's not, there are some difficulties because generally people coming from the car world have a different mentality. I've experienced with this kind of situation since 30 years, so it's always the same story. But we got intelligent people that immediately understood the difficulties of the motorcycle development, because normally people coming from car believe that the car is much more complicated than motorcycle, but in many aspects this is not true. It's the opposite. So we are very happy. The melting of this culture is super positive for the company, and we really made a big step in the strength of the group and the level of the group in the last 2 years. It's been impressive.
Yes, and my second question is about, you have been basically the only manufacturer that has built a new bike in the last years. The other one have developed what they had, basically. So this means that your aerodynamic package has not been added to an existing bike. Has this been an advantage?
Well, difficult. Yeah, I have not a clear answer. We had to do what we did. We had no other choice than make big steps until we reached the level we are now. Well, when we test new aerodynamic packages, when we present new aerodynamic packages, normally there have been some tests previously. Maybe new wings on the old bike, things like that. So we had some information earlier than the full new bike started the season.
But when you design the bike, normally you design it considering the 3 points, not only engine or chassis, right?
Yeah, well, the balance. So in recent years, engineers have been more aware of the importance of the aerodynamics in the overall balance of the motorcycle. And this has become more and more important due to the wings that have appeared on the bike that made stronger aerodynamic forces. Not that the aerodynamic forces were not there before. They were there, but in many cases we were not fully aware of the importance of them. So now the general know-how of the design group has increased in terms of overall understanding of dynamic, in terms of mechanical and aerodynamic balance.
Thank you very much.
Hello, gentlemen. This is Frank Weyink from Eurosport. I have two questions. First of all, a question to Romano. Romano, it's quite clear to all of us and to you, of course, that the Aprilia has improved a lot. Now, you've been testing with Andrea Dovizioso recently, and he's, from what I understand, is testing again for this year, but it seems that he is not planning on signing for you for next year. What do you think would help Aprilia more? Sign, let's say, an experienced rider for 2022 or a young rider? And I'm sure that you've spoken to Aleix as well as about this. What is your view on this?
Well, if I'm not wrong, after the announcement of Valentino yesterday, Aleix is the older rider in MotoGP, so yes. It wouldn't be super perfect to have the two older young rider in the MotoGP probably. But this is not. This is a joke. Of course, if Dovi would like to join our racing team, we would consider it absolutely super seriously. Anyway, the recent wave in MotoGP is super favorable to young riders. So having a very expert rider and a young rider would be super good anyway. I don't know if I answered your question.
But do you have a preference yourself?
No.
Oh, okay. Thank you. My second question is to Kawauchi-san. Last year, obviously, at the end of the season, you lost Davide Brivio. This year, you have a new structure within the team. How would you say is this structure working? Are you missing out on something now that Davide has left?
Yes. Simply one person missing, so we are very busy now. But fortunately, everybody helping us. So I feel more our team inside unite more than before. So this is a good point, but sure, very, very difficult to manage everything. And yes, so we have to find out some good solution.
But it's working for you?
Pardon?
Is it working good enough for you? You're not. Let me ask you. You are not thinking of changing the whole structure again for next year?
For future, not sure. Maybe we find some good way. Maybe we'll change. But I can say until end of this year, we will not change.
Okay. Thank you.
Gentlemen, Taufik from TMC Block Trans 7 from Indonesia. I would like to ask one simple question, but for three of you. It's about research on fuel. Okay, although it's limited by regulation, how much do you believe bikes in general? Thank you.
So we can don't hear well about the question.
Okay. 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 Yeah. Okay. 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 Research on fuel, although it's limited by regulation, how much do you believe it can help improve performance for the bike in general?
Research on fuel.
Fuel. Yeah, about fuel, this is now the one of the point of development to collaborate with the supplier, and but we try, but in some point we can find, but so far. For the future, we don't know, but now it's more the stable condition about. So, but for future, we have to seek this area more.
From long time before, we continue to develop, to looking for some more, even small improvement, but we try to find out improvement from the fuel. Very difficult and difficult to do some big step, but sure, important if we stop the developing, easy lose way, so we continue to develop it's necessary.
We have started this year a cooperation with the Castrol BP, which is super good. They are supporting us in a fantastic way, doing continuous development in oil and fuel, and it's a part of the step we have done this year in terms of performance. So we believe that this cooperation can be super fruitful in the future also.
Gentlemen, that concludes the press conference. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedules here today, and the best of luck to all three of you for this weekend. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.